It meant that they had no real contact with the outside world. They couldn't do business. They couldn't exchange currencies because a lot of the currency exchanges were based on the telephone. You would look at what the international rates are. They couldn't trade commodities like gold or silver because they didn't know what the actual prices were on the global market. So the country, when I was there just a short while ago, I found the people frustrated, frightened, economically depressed, looking for change. I found the government very much wanting to do a deal. They seemed, there is a real sense of uncertainty from both the government and the people in Tehran at this moment.
And Richard, it's also maybe unintended consequences to, for example, Iran reacting by sending drones or missiles to neighboring countries, because many of those neighboring countries are actually now publicly condemning Iran. And I'm thinking anywhere from Morocco to UAE to Qatar, their reaction to having received some of those drones and that drone that we saw in Bahrain is to condemn Iran.
Absolutely. Saudi Arabia in particular has been strident in its condemnation. And Iran has now found itself in a position where it has more enemies than it did in the past. And this is a very difficult position for the Iranian government. I would say this is the most precarious point that the Iranian government has found itself in since the 1979 revolution, since this Islamic revolutionary government took power and overthrew the Shah. They faced the Iran-Iraq war, which was a devastating war in the 80s, about 1 million people killed on both sides between Iran and Iraq. That was a traumatic experience for the country, of course, but many people rallied behind their government because they faced this enemy in Saddam Hussein. They've had the Green Revolution. They had the Masa Amini protest that you mentioned a couple of years ago that was led by women. But now that they are facing the full brunt of an Israeli and U.S. attack, and now have a lot of new enemies around them in the Persian Gulf, they are in a very difficult position, and they don't have as many allies. They don't have as many military supporters as they did in the past. Their proxy groups, their militias like Hezbollah or Hamas or the Houthis have been severely weakened by Israel and the United States over the past couple of years. So this is a dangerous moment for Iran, but that doesn't mean that the regime is necessarily going to just collapse and protesters are going to walk into the presidential palace, fly a flag, and there's going to be a flourishing democracy. You could see state collapse. You could see Iran fall into pieces. It's a large mountainous country of 90 million people that has Kurdish areas, that has Arab ethnic areas. It is a complex, it has Persian areas, of course. It is a long
as it is needed, but you need to really be resilient and strong. I would like to thank the President Trump for his historical leadership. I spoke with him again this morning, and I would like to thank him and bless him for this close collaboration. It has truly, for 47 years, the Ayatollah regime has been calling out for death to Israel, for death for the Americans, and has brought about the deaths of many Americans and Israelis. Everyone knows that such a murderous regime should have nuclear weapons that can carry it out at the tyrant Khamenei. For 3 decades, he has been sending terror with proxies and has made his people miserable and continue talking about the extermination of the state of Israel. This plan and program no longer exists. This tyrant no longer exists. We targeted those at the head of the leadership of the Brotherhood, of the Revolutionary Guard, and all his general staff and others. We would like to thank the suffering, and your sacrifice will not be in vain. We promised you the help, and the help has arrived. And now the time has come to reunite all of you, all the Persians, the Kurdis, the Baluchis, the Iranians. The time has come to unify yourselves and to truly topple this regime and ensure your future. Dear Israeli citizens, during the entire war, I watched your resilience. You did not fall into those traps of depression. On the contrary, you stood tall and you gave backing to the government, to the heroes fighting, and to me in order to lead that struggle for our existence. That is exactly how a people of lions fight. Over the next few days, we will still need to stand steadfast and adhere to all the demands and all the instructions of the Home Front Command. There's tremendous symbolism that today is Purim, the 11th day of Adar. Yosef Trumpelbor fell at the Tel Hai battle. His heritage, his heroism is burning within us. At the monument in the panhandle of the Galilee, you can see the roaring lion monument. For many times I always visited there and looked at that monument, and I always saw you, our people, us, the entire nation of Israel. And with the help of God, that roar of the lion of our soldiers and our pilots will be heard throughout the world. And today, more than ever, the entire world knows Am Israel Chai, the people of Israel live.
I want to bring back Richard Engel. He is in Tel Aviv. Richard, the Prime Minister of Israel speaking directly to the Iranian people, calling them the lion, and President Trump also, at the end of his overnight comments, directly speaking to the Iranian people, telling them that their future is now theirs to take.
This message that we just heard, I was listening to his Prime Minister Netanyahu's comments as well. This mission that Israel's launched is called the Lion's Roar. That is the name that it is given. And he was saying to the Iranians, now it's up to them, that they should go out onto the streets and take down their government. It's the exact same message that we heard from President Trump earlier in the day, saying that help has arrived, that there will be these military strikes, and that eventually, when the government is weak enough, that the people should take power and overthrow their government. It's unclear which people. It's unclear how that's supposed to work. Presumably, there will be some CIA help. There will be communication. There will be covert actions to try and direct this. But it is an incredibly risky and difficult thing to accomplish. I can't think of a time when this has ever been successful. Generally, regime changes can happen in one of three ways.